Love is simply one word. It's unspoken. The foundation of life. What is this all about? There is no greater narcotic on this planet. You can line them all up and it won't come close to the dopamine hit that you get from love. Because love don't even have to touch you to make you feel some kind of way special. I see you flipping. I see you flipping through that phone, but you found the right place. If you got a heart and you got some love in it, even if you ain't got no love in it, we can fill it up because you've tuned into definitely the right place. The Art of Love with Dr. O. To all my love angels out there in Love Land, appreciate you putting in all the good hard work, bringing all these beautiful love angels into our happy family of love. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Spread it and protect that happiness. Hey, welcome back to the Art of Love with Dr. O, and I'm yours truly, Dr. O. To all my love angels out there in Love Land, appreciate you putting in all that hard work to bring more beautiful people into our beautiful family of love. Well, we're about to wrap it all up in this segment of frequencies. We've already talked about the lower frequencies, and we've talked about the mid frequencies. Well, I was just sprinkle on the lower frequencies first, and then a little bit of the mid, and then we get into the higher frequencies. Well, you hear this all over the internet, and you probably heard other people talking about it. It's like you hear frequencies, you hear vibe, you hear energy, and I always tell everyone that we're just bundles of energies that came to rest inside of a shell that we call a body. But of course, the body isn't who we are. It's just a shell. If you lost your leg, then the energy that resides inside of you, some of you call it a soul, would tell you to get a prosthetic limb. Hence, the soul controls the body doesn't control the soul. That energy that resides inside of you controls the body doesn't control the soul. That being said, more and more people are talking about the frequency, the energy, the vibe. And one of the things that I said to simply find what frequency someone might be on is you get a cup of water, fill it halfway, and ask them, do you see this glass half full or half empty? Or do they just straddle the fence in the mid frequency saying yay or nay? They don't want to be right, they don't want to be wrong. But if they're always saying, man, it's empty, if everything that comes out of their mouth is on a negative, then you already know what frequency that person is talking about. If they don't find a positive out of any situation, they're always fast and quick to get to the negativism of any situation, then that's definitely an individual that's vibing off the lower frequency. And remember, just because you vibing off the lower frequency, it doesn't mean that your relationship is doomed. And someone else's relationship that's on a positive frequency is going to last longer. It's just you finding the match that's vibing for you, that's right for you to do what you do. And in the earlier segment, I said, well, if you want to find a crackhead, if you're a crackhead, then go ahead and find a crackhead if you're a crackhead and be happy. If you want to find a basketball player, don't convince somebody to play basketball. Just go find someone that's already playing it. Same thing with the gym. If somebody is in the gym and they're active and they catch your eye and that's they doing what you like, then that's making it easier to find the frequency that you like. Don't meet somebody that the gym is not important to them. They like to eat. They're happy with the size that they are and they enjoy that. Well, see, you've created an issue by going after that person because they're not even thinking about the gym. But you like them, but you're trying to convince them to go. Well, if it meant that much to you, you should have found somebody already in the gym. And as for that person that likes to eat that ain't thinking about the gym, it would do them no good to find a gym rat. They should find someone that like buffets and like to do the things that they do. So that's finding the right frequency. And that's that, as far as the negativism, that's that empty glass. Now, I told you that the middle frequency is someone that straddles the fence. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm other. They just like to stay right in the middle. I'm not an atheist. I'm not a Christian. I'm non denominational. They just like to stay in the middle. Isn't it interesting when you stop to think about this actually exists? It actually makes sense. People really are like that. Well, we're not going to spend too much time on the negativism frequency, the lower frequency, or the mid. We're going to hop into what today is about, and that's the top frequency, the happiness. That's someone that's willing to find positivity at any bad situation that's thrown at them. Say that's what you want. You know, if you're on a lower frequency and you lose your job, you already know when you get home, it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good. They're gonna call you dummies and everything else they can pull out of their mouth to go ahead and send you further into the abyss. And then someone that's on the mid frequency, they won't tell you if you're right or wrong, if you're coming or going. So, but someone that's on that top frequency, that positive frequency, okay, you lost your job. They'll tell you you didn't lose your job, they lost you. And now is an opportunity for you to find something bigger and better. They were holding you back. See? And if that sounds good to you, then you want to find somebody that's on that top tier frequency, that positive frequency. You know, I remember in my first marriage that I was living in Apple Valley and I was driving all the way to LAX, all the way to a 7-Eleven to be a security guard. Now, I wasn't trying to retire from it, but I was just bridging the gap in my life financially. I was doing whatever I had to do legally to make things happen. See, you have to find a way to do things legally to make things happen because if you dwell in that negativism, okay, you have fun, but there is this thing called the long arm of the law, and it will reach out and get you. So, on a positive frequency, you find something positive to do, legal to do, and even regardless of what other people may think, driving from Apple Valley all the way to LAX to be a security guard at a 7-Eleven, I did that and I kept it positive. Unfortunately, what I was coming home to wasn't so positive. You know, I was falling asleep on the road. You know, you coming down east, no, north on Cajon Pass on the 15, and there's long straightaways. And there were times when I probably driven quite a distance and was asleep. And how do you know when you really sleep? Is it when you're driving in your car and you fall asleep? No. When you get off the freeway, you know you're supposed to get more energy, right? Well, when you fall asleep at the stop sign or the stoplight, you're tired. But there is something even greater than that when you know it's time to get into bed. And that is, and I was doing it, when you fall asleep on the toilet, it's time to get into bed. And I was doing that. I would see the sun come up and the sun go down. And remember, I wasn't trying to retire. I was just bridging the gap financially in my life to get to the next level. But when I came home and the door opened, there was a lower frequency to greet me. As positive as I was to work that far to put food on the table so that my kids could have a prosperous life, I was greeted with, "You're tired, ain't you? What you getting ready to do? You getting ready to go lay down?" Yeah, yeah. But see, it depends on what you want to come home to. It depends on what frequency soothes you, what frequency moves you. Well, coming up next on The Art of Love with Dr. O is my favorite segment, and that is Let's Talk About It. We have some good guests on our show today. Um, I've known these gentlemen for quite some time. Um, and I refer to them when it comes time for me to question and correct myself. If I think that there's something that I might be doing wrong, that I could correct or do better, I'll ask these two individuals. So I look forward to you guys seeing and hearing from these individuals. Just gonna get just a little knowledge and wisdom on their mind, let's talk about it. Let's ease right into that. The third thing I want to talk about is quite controversial. Ladies, please don't get upset at me for speaking on this topic, but I do believe that it's a topic that needs to be addressed because love is truth and truth is love. So we're going to discuss this. And that is, I'll just put it into two stories. If there's one thing that you never hear, I've spoken to ladies and, I said, well, you see that guy who you just talked to, you got all in his face? You do know that he has the strength 10 times yours, right? And they'll say, yeah, I don't care, he can't. I'm like, no. There's a level, regardless of how you feel about him. I teach my daughters, you don't belong no place in a man's face provoking him in any negative fashion, right, unless you're defending yourself. Say that for me and I'll come handle it. See, but we have a generation that I see too often enough, that there's no level of respect just off of the physical. And I asked myself, what is that about? And I made up two scenarios. And one is, if a lady went to the zoo and that big gorilla, and mind you, I've asked these ladies, have you been in the face of a man and you cussed him out and yeah. Well, sometimes I can understand if he pissed you off, all that, but sometimes are you provoking it? And if you went to the zoo and that gorilla ran up to the gate and just threw some on your face, because they do that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know that. They do it. Yeah. And if the zookeeper put a two-sided letter on the gate to where you can climb up the gate and go down, would she go up the gate and go down the gate,
be on the other side,
and go talk to that gorilla and get in his face for throwing that in her face? And after he threw it, he looked at it and went, would she? He did like this. Would she go up the gate, go down the gate, and get in his face?
Right.
Now, unless she's on some type of medication or something, right, chances are no, she wouldn't. If you were taking a tour of a prison and there's this gentleman in there, 6'5", 497 pounds of pure muscle, and he on death row. He on death row. And this man then mutilated and raped and killed over 100 women. And when you walk by your tour of the prison, he chucked some urine on you. And you got upset. And the CO said, oh, I'm sorry. Let me open up the gate.
Right. So you talk to her.
Go on, get in there. I'm going to lock the gate so you can go and figure it out. And dude in there screaming because he mad because he can't continue to do what he want to do. So here's his opportunity for it to be 101 victims. When he opened the gate, would she go in there? No. Chances are, unless she's on medication or something, you probably wouldn't. So with that being said, what is it that three individuals have in common? The gorilla, the guy that's locked up in prison, And then the gentleman that's in your household loving you. Or any man, I didn't say a child, but any man
Right.
has 10 times your strength, as the gorilla does, as the gentleman in prison does. What's the difference? Why would you even get in the face of a man that loves you and provoke anger? Why would you even entertain the thought of running up on somebody that has 10 times your strength? And there's only one thing I could think of. They know that the gorilla and that man is already locked up, and they don't care nothing about the laws of the land.
Right.
Now, is that something that's being taken advantage of? When you have men that are 10 times the strength, but you wouldn't do it to the gorilla. You wouldn't do it to the gentleman that's locked up. But all three of them have the same ability. Is that a level of respect? And is that something that's just being taken advantage of?
It's something that is absolutely being taken advantage of.
Elaborate.
Absolute 100%. The woman is banking on, because she knows that that man loves her, that he wouldn't ever do that. They're not even rationalizing that you can be catching anybody on the wrong day. They are banking on the fact that that man does love her. And I can say whatever I want to say, and I can get all up in his face, because he would never do that. They're never banking on the fact that it could be the wrong day.
It could be the wrong day.
Time.
He can be coming home and the boss just told him, "You fired.
That's right.
Get out of here." Beat it, he bump. And now, instead of being nurtured, he's walking through the door, and what happened to how was your day, baby? I love you. You know, even if you love angels out there, even if you have something to say that's you want to get off your chest, welcome your husband in the house, because he passed up a lot of houses, and she, if it's reversed, and she passed up a lot of houses. And when they walk through the door, the acknowledgement of "I love you" is there. So welcome them in with peace and love and happiness before you bombard them with the brutality of nonsense. Now, they say words and mental abuse is far greater than physical.
Absolutely.
Now, a perfect example of that is a fight can roll off your shoulders in elementary, but in the 3rd grade, what did Shannon Matthews say to us?
He said, if you were the last man on earth, I would never go out with you.
If you guys were the last man on earth, I would never go out on you or go out with you. See, those are words.
Right.
That cut deep. Words are so powerful. Hitler didn't physically rule a nation. He did it with his mouthpiece. So who has the ability to use a mouthpiece greater, a man or a woman?
Right.
That would be a woman.
Right.
Who would hurt your feelings more? Coming from your father or your mother? You heard her voice before you came into the world.
Right.
Okay? So, ladies, I say to you, there's a profound responsibility that you have, and you have to own up to with the mouthpiece. Just as a man has 10 times the strength of a woman, and the majority of men, I'm not saying kids, because I'm going to let you in on a secret, ladies. Alpha dominating men, we know that's something we would never do. Just the thought of it detests us, because the results, we already know what that is. That's not us being chauvinistic. That's just us understanding what it really is. For a lady to walk around and say, "Yeah, he hit me. I can't believe," whoever that guy is that hit you, he got fist of cotton. And that's not something to brag about. You know, and if alpha male knew who that was, we would take care of that for you. But, you know, a man has 10 times the strength, and you have 10 times the ability with your mouthpiece. Like I said earlier, if a man is conquering this world, it's only because you inspired him to do it. You are the single most powerful manifestation of life to ever come to exist on this planet. I tell you, it doesn't take two for life to exist. It takes your thought and your decision for it to exist. So I would love for us to find a way to respect one another. Now, look how much that solves inside the household if a man could come home and say, yeah, I have 10 times your strength, but that's not even up for discussion. I'm going to set that aside. And for a woman say, yeah, I do have the greatest mouthpiece that God has ever made, and I'm going to set that aside. And now we're going to love each other, and there's nothing to argue about. But when you don't respect that, there's problems. And what happens if the chromosome, the nucleon and the cells, they don't fire right? And now he's sitting in a cell. How did I get here? But who's on the other end of him being there is her either dead or in the hospital. And ladies, no man has a right to put his hands on you, and you bet not allow it. You bet not allow it, because as fathers, we're all fathers here. Our daughters know, and their boyfriends know what comes with that. If we ever find out, it ain't gonna be legal what we do to them. So that's just something that's not up for discussion. A lot of gentlemen, they put their hands on women, it's because they didn't have a father in their life to know what it is to be a man, to know that your hands don't belong on a woman. See, you're in a relationship with a child. A man wouldn't do that. An alpha male wouldn't do that. The only thing an alpha male would do for you is love and provide for you. His queen.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
Welcome to the Art of Love with Dr. O, and I'm yours truly, Dr. O. To all my love angels out there in love land, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. There is no feeling in the world like the love you give yourself. And remember, every time I close the show, I always say, until next time, make sure that loving you is a priority thing for you to do. How many of y'all do it? Or do y'all just, once the show is off, y'all just forget about those words? They're very powerful. I say it to you so that even when you're not even thinking about it, you're doing it. So make sure you practice that, because depending on love from somewhere else, there's a greater chance you'll be disappointed in the love you give yourself. So we're going to go ahead and ease right into one of my favorite segments. I think all of them are favorite segments, but this segment right here, it allows me to get closer to you guys, and we're just going to slow it down, and we're going to go ahead and get through these questions. And that's Ask Dr. O. Let's see what Dr. O thinks about these questions. Now, I have clients that come, they sit in the chair, and it's therapy session. I mean, the haircut is already going to be nice. They already know what that's going to be. But I think that a lot of them is good therapy. You know, some of my clients' parents, they bring their kids and they say, you know, I ask them, why did you, I just tapered his hair, you know, that's like 5-7 minutes. Why did you give me $100? And they say, well, Art, it's a lot easier for me to bring my child to you than to go to a therapist. So, you know, you see it one end, one way, and then on another end, it's another way. So it's like, that's a nice price for 7 minutes. But on the other end, it's like he's saving money because the therapist isn't going to keep it as real as I'm going to keep it real. So let's go ahead and get into these questions with Ask Dr. O. You know, all these ladies always saying the same thing, man. He's a nice guy. I don't have any problems. Oh, here we go with another one. I've known this guy since elementary, and I have romantic feelings for him. But I don't want to destroy the friendship. Should I give it a chance? I've known this guy since elementary, and I have romantic feelings for him. Should I give it a chance? Well, you know, a lot of ladies, they meet guys. This is from Renee. Renee from the Valley. Renee, a lot of ladies meet guys, and within 2 months they already talking about getting married and spending the rest of their life with this guy, only to find out 3-4 years later he is a crackhead and they didn't see that stop sign. There's always a stop sign. I don't care. Hey, whenever somebody complain about somebody, slow them down. Say, okay. Was there a stop sign when you met him? Come on now, ladies. Y'all can do it. Was there a stop sign? He don't come home. He cheating on me. He always going through my phone. Let's be honest, love angels and love land. Was there a stop sign? Your Honor. It's an honor to honor your honor, my honor. There was a stop sign, huh, ladies? Yeah, there's always a stop sign. And Renee, you know that. All your friends tell you all their horror stories. And here you have an opportunity of knowing someone almost a lifetime. You know what he does and what he doesn't, what he likes and what he doesn't like. You have a perfect opportunity to actually have a beautiful relationship, because without even knowing it, you guys have been courting each other. You've been getting to know each other. So, of course, you don't want to spoil a good thing, but what if he feels the same way? You know, I know that's that one question. It's a gamble. Should I roll the dice? Well, I mean, if he's taking you out to eat and he's reaching in his pocket and he's paying for things and y'all just friends, and if you short on some bills and he helping you pay those bills and y'all just friends, and whenever you have an issue with your car, he gives you good advice and y'all just friends, well, it seems to me like you're getting a lot more out of him just being friends than a lot of ladies get out of their man in a relationship. So if he already doing all these things, maybe he's just that nice of a guy because he feels the same way about you and he's scared of losing you. I would say it's better to live with knowing than to live with a what if. If I woulda, shoulda, coulda. Say it with me, love angels. Sure enough, may have. Live with knowing. Go on and roll that dice. And from all the things that he does and him being a nice person that he is, you knowing him your entire life, just take what you know of him. Is he telling you that he's sleeping around with all these girls and got him going in and out of his life and this and that? See, if a man's telling you how he runs through a bunch of women, he's letting you know he don't want to be with you. But if he don't talk about other women and he's providing all these things for you, then it's you. He's waiting on you. So go on and roll that dice and walk up to him, go on, slide, grab the back of his head and go on, go on, give it to him. Don't, you either gonna gonna max it out or you gonna tease it? You know, I say max it out. And if he pulled back, say, "What are you doing?" You let him know, "Hey, look, man, you been helping me with my car, paying these bills, giving me all this advice and stuff, man. My girlfriends don't even get a quarter of this in their relationship. You know what it is. Give me another one." So just, hey, go with your heart, your gut. It's already telling you what it is, so just embrace it. It's a gift from the universe, and you're fortunate to actually start a relationship off, a beautiful relationship with somebody that you know your entire life. So enjoy that, Renee. It's definitely that time, love angels. It's definitely that time. But before we go, I want you to try something. Let's play a happiness game, okay? Let's play this happiness game. You have 3 times in every day, and there's 7 days until we see each other again. But you have 3 times in each day to protect your happiness. If someone tries to rob you of it, block it, and that's 1. And hopefully you can maintain at least 3 blocks in one day. You know, some days you might not even get one, but you only get 21 chances before I see you again next week. So that negativism come, block it. That's 1. Block it. That's 2, 3 in one day. Block it. And hopefully you can protect that happiness until I see you again to rejuvenate you. And until next time, make sure that loving you is a priority thing for you to do.